And I know you've taken tremendous issue with this case. What do you think is for you personally, the most offensive thing in this case?
Well, the most offensive thing is Judge Martin's view of the First Amendment. Whether or not he's a Muslim or a Lutheran doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you have a judge who tells this man that you're quote, outside the bounds of the First Amendment.
Wearing the Halloween costume.
That's right, and that's perfectly bizarre. I mean, the First Amendment's not there to protect popular speech. You don't need an amendment to protect popular speech. It's there to protect people like Thomas Paine, people that frankly tick off others. And so he got it in the reverse. And that is a serious issue for him to look at. And I think that the tongue lashing he gave was to
the victim in this case, the guy who was marching in the parade and who brought the suit in the first case. The judge actually sort of lit into him and called him a doofus at one point.
Yeah, and what's really troubling is he makes a reference to Sharia law. I don't think he's saying we should apply Sharia law, but he says, you know, in other countries, you could be put to death for this. Well, yeah, and we're not one of those countries. Those countries apply a medieval form of law. And those are the antithesis of what we're supposed to be doing here. One of the concerns about civil libertarians is that there is a trend in the West towards criminalizing what's called blasphemy or anti-religious speech. And so we're all a bit sensitive when we see a U.S. judge making these types of statements.
I thought it was a couple of things that were sort of interesting. The gentleman who's Muslim was watching the parade with his kids, and he said one of the reasons that he felt like he had to go in and attack, because he didn't deny attacking the guy who was in the parade, was because he's with his kids and he wanted to show them that people have to be treated right. So he felt so offended. I mean, so that in and of itself was kind of crazy. But I was surprised that this was not an assault case, that it was a harassment case, because at least from the description, it sounded like he then went and tried to rip the sign off of him and grab the beard off of the costume.
So that I thought it looked like assault as well, and that makes the dismissal of the harassment charge even more curious. Now, it's true, in Judge Martin's favor, it is true that there was incomplete testimony, that there was a difference of opinion, but the officer here issued a report supporting the harassment charge. You have a videotape, and more importantly, the judge at one point says, I don't doubt this incident occurred. So putting aside whether he felt there was sufficient evidence, I would have thought that he would have given a lecture to the defendant, that no matter what you may consider to be your cultural impulse or your beliefs, people are allowed to say things that disturb you in this country, and you're not allowed to grab hold.